everyone, Melanie Muenchinger here, illustrator for Gina Designs. Today I've got a really simple project for you to mass produce for the holidays with my Festive Frame set. This is going to be a design that was in my book, Fabulous Stamped Frames. Festive Frame is now available in clear. You need very minimal supplies for this project. We're going to be using the Gina K Festive Frame stamp set. You'll need a large block for this frame. I've also got some of the Gina K Pure Luxury. Today we're using the faded brick and then just a scrap piece of white. I'm going to post those measurements below. The stamp pads that we're going to be using today, we're going to be using the Versamark to do some embossing. That's just the watermark stamp pad. And then I've got some of the Gina K Fresh Asparagus and some of the faded brick to match that cardstock. I have some sponge daubers here, just one for each color. A smaller block for my greeting, and then I've got my heat tool and just some adhesive. I also recommend that you have some kind of scratch paper just to catch all of the powder and then funnel it back into your jar. This is just some detail white that I have from Stampendous. I believe Gina still carries it in her store. And then I also like to use just a paper towel because I'm going to be doing some emboss resist where I'm sponging ink over the embossing, and it's really going to make those white details pop if you remove some of the ink. So let's begin by stamping out this frame. Got my frame right here. So I have it on the block and I just line up that top line with one of the lines on the grid line so I know that it'll be square when I stamp it onto my 4 by 5 1/4 inch mat. So I'm just going to get that inked up all over. You want to be extra careful that you're getting all of it just because this is a clear ink. And then I'm just going to lay this down right over my mat. It's a little harder to see the edges of it since I'm doing white on white here. So you might want to put like a piece of black paper or just something darker underneath to see that white really popping around the edges. And then it's really sticky since it's still very new, so I'm going to peel it away. You might want to use an anti-static pad or a dryer sheet just to keep the ink from, the pad sticking or clinging, but I didn't do that here. So I'm just going to shake on some of this powder. It gets a little clumpy, that's okay. And I'm just going to turn it and then tap it off. And I missed this little corner here, so I can just scoop that in and then tap that off. And you can hold it to the light and see if there's any areas that you need to brush off. I got a really great tip just to use like a little small makeup brush. I forget who that was that told me that, but I really like that tip. Don't have one at the moment, so just use my finger carefully. You might use a little tweezers or something like that. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And then I'm just picking this up and then I'm just carefully pouring this back in. And embossing powder just seems to last forever. I mean, I have jars and it never seems to get any lower. So it really lasts a long time when you order some. Okay. So let's go ahead and heat that up. You might want to hold it down if you've got something close to the edges with some kind of little tool. So I'm just going to work from side to side, holding in the opposite corner. And you're going to move the tool around. You don't want to put it too close because you don't want it to scorch your paper. It is going to fold up a little bit, but we'll be able to tack that down with our adhesive when we're done. And you're just going to see it going from a powdery look to a shiny finish. And with Emboss Resist, I usually like to do tone on tone. So that is, if I'm using white paper, then I like to also do the Emboss Resist with white. But this will also work if you want to emboss in a black or another color. Just the white really stands out when you sponge your ink over it the most. Almost all of it. And this detail power is picking up all of those little details, fine details in the image. Okay, So as you can see, I mean, I love that just by itself, the tone on tone. So that is a look that you can get with this stamp set. You'll see that the different corners with the poinsettia and the foliage of the pine cones and berries and needles are a little bit different on each side. So this is a stamp that you could use in 4 different orientations, and you can find other videos that I have done with this stamp set on my channel. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to do just a little bit of sponging. I just want to add a little bit of that brick to the flowers and then some of that green to the poinsettias. So I'm just going to swirl this around on here, and then you can tap it off if you need to on your scratch paper. Make sure you have something underneath to protect your work surface. But I'm just going to gently just sponge this over those corners over the poinsettia. I'm just going to let it fade out. And then I'm going to do some down here at the bottom. And my green is going to overlap onto the red. And it's going to just peek into that frame there like a little rosy glow. And you can go back when you have most of the ink off of it just to kind of blend that out a little bit. Okay, so we've got red there in the corners. Then we're going to take our sponge dauber for the green and just do that just at the edges. So you're not filling in the needles exactly or the pine cones exactly. You're just suggesting some of that color there. And you might want to turn it. It might be easier to work further away from yourself. And if you're not sure how much ink you have on there, you can tap it off first. I always just start swirling it off the edge of the page first. And this is an old dauber, so it's starting to deteriorate just a little bit, kind of pill up and come off. So that's what you're seeing, that sponge kind of flecking out. So I'm going to replace this dauber soon so I don't get that. Okay, see how pretty that is? And then we're going to take our paper towel and we're just going to gently go over that. Make that pop. The same thing here. Kind of like a crayon resist too, if you've ever done that technique. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to add the greeting. So I have several different greetings, and some of them are longer or some of them are meant to be stamped vertically so that you can use this in a portrait or a landscape orientation. So I'm going to do today's card in portrait like I did in the book. It says, "May the spirit of Christmas bring you peace, the gladness of Christmas give you hope, and the warmth of Christmas grant you love." So this is a greeting that will work on the outside or the inside of your card. And then you could go back to that stamp set. So let's say this is on the outside. And then you could add season's greetings, we wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, any of these greetings on the inside of your card in that same font to match. So we'll go ahead and just adhere this to that folded faded brick base. And then if you want, you can add some little embellishments. In the book, I use pearls and just some little die cuts. But on this, I just wanted to mat it just directly onto my card front. Isn't that pretty? So I just love those kind of more vintage colors. It's not a real bright red, but you have just that muted, soft, faded brick, just like it's named. It's so pretty. And then if you want to go on and add maybe just some little Nouveau crystal drops. So here's one that I did earlier so you can see it with and without. On this one, I used the woodland green and the, let's see, it's a red that I haven't used yet in my videos. I believe they're both out of stock currently, but this one is the woodland green and the autumn red. And so you can just tap that, just small little dots, into the middle of your poinsettia or onto the berries, or even do just a little accent under the greeting or at the corners. I hope you enjoyed this card and see how easy it is to add a lot of vibrant color to your cards. So pretty with the sponging, it just makes a glow, but it saves you a lot of time and not have to coloring individual petals and leaves. Thank you for watching this video today. Please be sure to visit my blog, Hands, Head, and Heart, for more ideas and inspiration using all of my stamp sets, and visit us at Gina K Designs and Stamp TV. Thanks for watching today. I hope you have a fabulous Thanksgiving. Be safe. God bless.